Hey guys, welcome to this quick episode that I'm making. So the story is yesterday I made a video and I had a lot of footage about the use of gutter oil in China, right? And I've been talking about this for a very long time. And then I came across this headline here which says US imports of Chinese used cooking oil set for new record, future uncertain. I was like, wait a minute, cooking oil, Chinese used cooking oil, that's this stuff. That's this stuff. Right? This is garbage oil, and then we have obviously from the gutter. This is the sewage, the gutter oil. Okay,
是吗？
right? That's literally harvested at night. Obviously, they wouldn't do this in broad daylight. So it suddenly came to me. I'm like, they're exporting this stuff to the United States as biofuel here. So U.S. demands for UCO, a feedstock for biofuels like renewable diesel, has surged as federal and state government launch incentives to support the industry they aim to decarbonize transportation. Okay, so there's a sudden frenzied rush for this need to make more biofuels, essentially. And they've been importing. So I'll show you this graph here. This is pretty stunning to me. Until 2021, the US was a net exporter of used cooking oil. Okay, so I don't believe the United States has this issue with gutter oil, but it's used cooking oil that they're recycling essentially to the rest of the world to export. And then suddenly in 2022, 2023 was massive. Obviously, 2024 hasn't ended yet. But if you look at the data, so imports from China made up of half of all of the UCO purchased by US refiners last year. So they buy these from China compared to just 0.1% share in 2022. And this year through June, so 2024, China already accounted for roughly 60% of the 1 million metric ton of UCO imported by the US. That means 600,000 ton of gutter oil is used. Now, how do I know that they're, whatever is happening in this situation, right, here, it is being used for exports? Well, obviously, in some cases, these are definitely used for consumption. As we know, they are put back into the restaurants in China, but they also produce a lot for this exports now. So take a look at this study. This is a study from 2021. And back then, China already produces and consumes more than 20 million ton of gutter oil every year. Okay, so remember the figures, 60%, which is 600,000 ton was exported to the United States this year already. And China apparently does that 20 million tons of gutter oil every year. And this is the study, okay, if you want to go fact check me. Study from 2021 says study on willingness to pay an impact mechanism of gutter oil treatment, taking urban residents in Sichuan province as an example. So that's data given by Chinese researchers. What's interesting is the EU actually also has some data. So according to the EU, this is from Transport and Environment Organization, says China, Indonesia, Malaysia have increased their collection of waste cooking oil to around 4 million tons in 2023. And with over 3/4 supplied by China alone. So 4 million, so that means 3 million tons are exported to the EU, also for the purpose of biofuel. I really don't think the US FDA or the European agencies are letting people consume this, right? I hope not. And then I also read this kind of headline, which kind of, stunned me a little bit. Florida police arrest 3 men who allegedly stole hundreds of gallons of used cooking oil worth thousands. Used cooking oils can be refined, sold, and reused as diesel fuel. So they did take the idea of gutter oil into the United States, and they've been punished for it. So at least in the United States, if you do this, or maybe just in Florida, I don't know, they are punishing this type of stuff, right? This is a crime, essentially. So, what does this all matter to us? I mean, as long as we're not consuming it, right? Well, no, actually, what I found was interesting is that for a very long time, we thought that China was only doing this to their own population, but they are also using this for profit. So, this is telling us that, like, in any other country, the US and Japan, I just found out, was apparently one of the first to promote a biofuel program for environmental purposes. But any other country, there's no problem with this type of stuff because it goes through a regulatory process that things are not happening like this, right? You don't have people on the ground digging up sewers and then getting the oil out of it to make a profit from this. And also take a look at this. So this is from Oil and Fats International. TNE report says China will run out of waste oil due to US and EU demand. So they're literally, excuse me, producing so much that they might be running out of the sewage oil, which is kind of ridiculous. Okay, so it says here, while China's collection capacity appears to be correspond to export levels, a huge illegal gutter oil market, as we know there is, means the country is likely to be consuming significant volumes of UCO domestically, according to the report. Meanwhile, Malaysia, a major palm oil producer, exports 3 times more UCO than it is collected domestically. The bulk of this volume passed through the Netherlands, or again, this is talking about the EU side, or shipped via the UK, a country with one of the highest SAF targets. So China is the only one that's going through the illegal gutter oil market. Okay, everybody else has a oil production that they can, kind of almost build off of. But the idea here is allegedly fraudulent. I can't talk. UCO and UCO biodiesel could be entering Europe due to a combination of self-declarations and lack of effective testing of raw materials arriving at biofuel production sites. So again, they also raised that question in Europe as well. Same question that the US raised here in this article, which is that, let me show you here. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, confirmed earlier this month that it has been auditing supply chains of at least 2 U.S. renewable fuel producers amid concerns of fraudulent feedstock usage. So basically, the concern here comes from groups and lawmakers that allegations of some Chinese UCO supply could be tainted with virgin palm oil, a product linked to deforestation. Probably other stuff as well in terms of what's being mixed into it, but they're all coming from here. This is where they're originating from. And the United States and the Europeans are buying this from China. So basically, they get to profit off of this, exporting it to the rest of the world because of the climate change debate. China is once again using this as an opportunity to make money. And this seems to be something that just recently started to get a lot of trouble in terms of, at least in the United States. If you just go back to this graph again, right? 2023, 2024, 2022 was not even a problem. And now China's making banks off of this. Okay, so after hearing about this, you might be wondering, okay, well, isn't it helping with climate change and China can get rid of its gutter oil and basically, sewer oil and use it to make some money? It seems like a win-win scenario. But if you really think about it, it's not really helping with climate change because when you're burning the biofuel, you're still producing the carbon. All you're doing is you're recycling this biofuel, which they're saying it's unlimited in the sense that you can always recycle like cooking oil, right? Let me know in the comments, do you really think this is China's attempt at being, trying to be nice and being a good player in the war of climate change? Or is this something that they're using again to try to win the market and to essentially make more money and through this export, build more reliance from the US and China? So let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching this quick video. All right, until next time, bye-bye.